Today, I feel like the American dream is completely out of reach, and I know I'm not the only one. You can see it everywhere you look. Home prices are up 47% in the last 4 years, grocery prices are up 26% in the same time, marriage is declining, happiness is declining, and even birth rates are declining. Everything seems to be going in the wrong direction. It can feel hopeless and downright depressing. But what if I told you you can be free to be rich in relationships, living, and having wealth?
We're going to show you how we can all have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. By the way, that's from the opening of the Declaration of Independence. It reads like this: "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." In practical terms, how we can live truly free, find joy, and even own a house with some groceries in it.
George, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness sound like the course materials they give you for Adulting 101. I thought those were just, unalienable rights in the most industrialized country in the world, which is America.
Well, I got news for you. It's not. Every generation has got to fight for their freedoms or they're going to lose them. I mean, you just look across history, and that's been the story.
But I don't want to have to fight for my freedoms, George. I thought they did that in 1776, and now I get to inherit all the winnings of that.
Well, yeah, not exactly. And that's not the way humanity works. Let me read you this quote. I think it'll help. "The end of democracy and the defeat of the American Revolution will occur when government falls into the hands of lending institutions and moneyed in corporations." What does that sound like?
Sounds a lot like today.
Yes, it does. You know who said that? The same guy that wrote the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson. And he also said this: "I hold it that a little rebellion now and then is a good thing, and as necessary in the political world as storms in the physical." So what he means is like, just like thunderstorms or hurricanes and tornadoes happen in the physical realm and they rejuvenate and, the land and all of that. So a little rebellion in the political, and I'd expand that to the business world, that sort of thing, the economy, that's good. It kind of keeps things fresh.
Yeah, that sounds nice and all, George, but a rebellion's such a big thing. How do you even start that or contribute to it?
Well, okay, he said a little rebellion. He's not thinking, pitchforks and axes and we go burn the castle down. It could look like this: unleashing millions and millions more entrepreneurs. And then when they start encountering all these stupid regulations and laws that don't serve anybody's purpose except fulfilling some bureaucrat's dream, they start pushing back. And it's a good thing. And that's what freedom does. And freedom, entrepreneurs to me are the keeper of freedom, honestly, because it's independent thinking. We're looking for a better way to do things. And that's been proven over the centuries in the United States. The most prolific advancements in science, technology, medicine, you just name it, and it's here.
So what you're saying is that to be an entrepreneur is to be a rebel?
Yeah, that's an interesting way to phrase it, AJ. I hadn't really thought about entrepreneurs as rebels, but you know what? I think you're right, because the word I use is disruptor. Well, how's that any different than a rebel? We see a better way to do things. We see something missing in the marketplace. We see, get business savvy, bad business information out there. We want to disrupt the business information world with actionable guidance that you can use to go have exponential growth and live truly free and have free time and build wealth.
Yeah, we don't want to be one of those fluffy YouTube channels that's just all clickbait and get rich quick schemes that you figure out don't make you rich and you can figure it out pretty quick. We actually want to give substantive advice.
Yeah, because we want to legitimately help everyone who tunes into our channel increase their business IQ. That's what business savvy is. And the smarter you are with that, the less you got to deal with it. You can lead your business and grow your company. And so we want everyone to start a side hustle. I mean, find something you love that you can make some money at and start doing it. I will tell you, that's how I got started doing what I'm doing today. I've led like 19 companies. I've guided tons of entrepreneurs, and it all started as a part-time, that's what we called it back then, side hustle, leading a small construction company. And I discovered my passion. I built experience, I built skill, and I discovered I can make money at this. And when I was making money, the companies I was leading were making even more money. And so now today, we've launched a YouTube channel. You see what I'm saying? Just get started. You don't know where it's going to take you.
Yeah, George, that's what I want. I want to be an entrepreneur, living freely, pursuing happiness. But like I said at the beginning, it just feels so difficult and if not impossible to do now. Just like looking at the finances for it, most Americans can't even afford a sudden expense right now. Everyone's savings rates going down. Like I said, grocery prices are up 26%. Home prices are up 47%. I know my personal balance sheet is getting crunched. My family's income statements are getting crunched. Like, it just feels like the math doesn't work anymore to pursue happiness and to be an entrepreneur and to live freely.
No, I get it. I've got a few years on you, AJ. I've been around the block some. I can remember, like, there was an oil crunch or crisis. I don't even know what. I think the whole thing was made up. They literally told us, like, by some year we would be completely out of oil. And that year has all we've already. I can't remember what it was now, but we've passed that year. we've had oil gluts after that prediction. You know, they're saying the whole world is going to come to an end next week or in 10 years with the global climate crisis. And they don't know. None of these. If you go back, do this for fun. You go back and look at the predictions like in the 50s and what they predicted, you know, cars like the Jetsons flying through the sky and stuff like that. They don't know. So if you live your life with that sort of doom and gloom, you become like Eeyore.
It's good to be home.
Oh, I suppose so. Weather's too nice.
But George, how could you not be Eeyore in today's society? There's just such a malaise everywhere you go. You don't see happy people out in the street. It just feels like no one cares about anything anymore. Like people are almost resigning from the cycle of life. I mean, at work, one of the biggest complaints about my generation is that we don't have ambition, that we don't want to rise up the ladder. But you look at that in the context of the fact that it just feels like there's no direction as a country at all. You know, my whole life, there's been red people in charge and there's been blue people in charge, but things just keep getting worse and the taxes just keep going up. It doesn't make any sense. And then I think about, like, when am I going to be able to retire? Because I can't start accumulating wealth. I'm not quite accumulating wealth yet. And then also I look at the generation behind me and I think those kids are going to be absolutely useless. I don't know what they're learning with the TikTok education and the iPads. It just all feels like we're trapped in this doom cycle that we can't get out of.
Well, Christopher Robin. Okay, let me cut through this. Oh, you forgot to mention the purple people too.
They haven't been in charge.
Red, blue, purple. Okay, look, it's all a lie. And let me go back to, so I tell some stories about Russia. And so when you met people that you kind of had to break through and get beneath the surface. In fact, there you had to get behind closed doors. And we actually got invited into people's apartments and things like that. I will tell you what makes people come alive. It isn't government policies. It isn't the economy. People have been happy for generations, for millennia, and it has nothing to do with who's the tyrant in control. It has to do with who you are, knowing your identity, and living into the fullness of the human being you're supposed to be in this given time. Period. That's it.
So what
Deal
you're
with
saying,
it. Just deal with it.
yeah. So what you're saying is, I should focus a little bit less on everything that's going on around me. Just like you said, just deal with it, and focus more on becoming, and focus more on developing and living into my passions and who I actually am.
Absolutely. And here's what we know. We know this fact that the internet and so all the social media sources, all of that kind of stuff, in comparison to other people's lives, leads to greater depression. And we know that psychological drugs are up. There's more psychotherapists than there've ever been in the history of the United States, and they can't meet the demand. And there's more drugs than ever before.
And I think the most telling sign of the mental health decline is the fact that you see those CyberTrucks on the street now. I mean, I'm in Austin, Texas, so I see a lot of them, and I just can't believe that people spend that much money for that dumpster.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go on a rant here, but I was behind one the other day, and I was like getting so angry. It just made me furious. I'm like, what is it? It is so ugly. It is so ugly. And I'm like, is this some sort of stealth plane or something? I mean, what is the deal here?
Exactly. Those things just cause a physical reaction in both of us. Right when you see them, they just make you so mad. But I'm seeing how if I was focusing on other things, maybe that wouldn't bother me as much.
Yeah, this is where the side hustle in your passion is so powerful. So AJ, what you guys don't know is like AJ and I are, we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes on YouTube and really working to make this channel the right channel for you guys. And to do that, we're investing a lot of time in like learning things, taking some e-courses, all that kind of stuff. When you start pouring yourself into something you want to do and you start learning more about it to get more skill, more experience, you don't have time for all the chatter out there, all the depressing news, all the depressing social media posts and all that kind of stuff, because you're engulfed in something you're getting excited about. Is that connecting?
Yeah. So by starting your own rebellion or disruption and being an entrepreneur, you are rebelling against and disrupting your own life in this cycle of just negativity that we can wrap ourselves into.
Yeah, as you say that, it's just occurring to me. How many hours a week do you spend looking at all this stuff? Or like, and AJ and I have talked about this, we'll go to sports stuff, college football in particular, and as a way of distraction. So either I'm enmeshed in it or I'm trying to get into stuff that's a distraction. What if I took all those hours and I started a side hustle to make more money, to find something I love that maybe could turn into my full-time gig? Is that a word that people use? But to become full-time and not have a boss? Oh, the freedom. Do you see? And it's fun. Meanwhile, everyone else is doom and gloom, Eeyores, popping a bunch of pills, seeing their therapist, and I'm living life.
Yeah, that does sound like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
It is. So guys, don't forget, come to our free monthly Get Business Savvy Mastermind. You can ask me any questions. It's live. It's on Zoom. And we have a great time. And we'll talk about this stuff. We'll help you figure something out. We'll ideate on it. It'll be great. Just click the link in the description below or go to getbusinesssavvy.com and check out the full episode of this podcast. I know you're going to love it. And in the meantime, may you live truly free.